Uh, Good morning, everyone. My name is Abdul Abdul Qadir. I'm a data architect from Newcastle University. Today, I'm going to be talking about our case study about implementing AI in the higher education sector. So it's going to be about evaluating the use of AI within Newcastle University. So don't expect anything very technical. I'm going to be talking more about our journey, our business thinking about how we went about understanding whether our workflow activity can have AI applied to it. And the case study was wrapped around a program called Chameleon, which I'll be talking to you more in the next slide. So these are the content that I would like to cover through my presentation. So starting from discovery overview of the whole thing. So as I said, the program or the project was wrapped around something called Chameleon. What is Chameleon? Chameleon it's a leadership and a manager program that provide people with the ability to work on strategic initiatives. And it runs as a project, so it has a sponsor that we met with. So I was part of the team that worked in this group. And for this group, we focused on one team within Newcastle University called ERD. So ERD, just to give you a background of what ERD does, they are a complex team within Newcastle who deals or manages the relation between the student and the university, and also with external parties that would like to work with the university. So what we did to start with, we've got those 5 different teams, as you can see in the slides here. We first sent a survey to those of all teams, asking them to list the 3 top pain points that they have an issue with. So this is like the bottleneck, what repetitive activities they're having to deal with in a day-to-day. And we've collated all of this data, and then we've done some ranking. We grouped all of these different pain points or bottlenecks into different themes, as you can see here. So we've ranked them based on how impactful are they for the university? What are the how many teams they touch on? What are the time consumption for these teams to work on these different things? And based on this, we came with, or we've listed, as a group, we listed inquiry management as the one that we're going to focus on. There's a lot here, so we thought we'll just focus on inquiry management to start with. So what we did, we took the different teams into a workshop to understand what are the workflow or the activity that takes place in order for them to do inquiry management. How do we talk to our student? How does our student reach out to us? And we did this in a Miro board. And you can see here we have 7 different channels that currently the student can interact with the university. And you might think, oh, there's a lot of channels here, 7, but a recent survey has shown that the channels provided better experience for our students. And you can see there's different ways that the student can get in touch with us. So in here, we try to understand the workflow. So we try to understand how does the student get in touch with the university? What are the different methods or ways they can get in touch with us? So based on the first stage of the work, we came up with these different kind of strategies about implementing AI. So the first one is we need to understand the end-to-end process. So how do we, stage by stage, how do we deal with our student? What are the different how does the process go from one team to another? So a deep understanding of this and looking, do we have any SOPs, standard operating procedure for doing any of this work with inquiry management? And also we're trying to understand whether AI can be the right solution for that particular channel or not. So and we did all this for the 7 different channels. For this presentation, I'll be focusing my effort on just one channel, which is called WebForm SAP CRM. And this is one of the channels how the students get in touch with us. So as I said, we came up with these different kind of strategy around understanding. So how do we know if AI can be the right thing? If it's feasible to be applied to this particular activity or workflow? So understanding the technology roadmap for the system underpinning the workflow is essential, as I've listed here. and understanding how critical is this for the university. What are the risks of this is going down, or how does AI going to help us do this? So in the next slide, I'm going to take you into a more detailed flow of how we kind of breaking down this particular channel into a bit more details. But before doing this, I would like to take you and give you an overview or understanding of what is a workflow and what's an AI integration, how they kind of work with each other. And this is kind of framed our thinking around how we can apply AI. So you've got a role, or different roles, or two roles within a team. So each role is doing an activity. So we're trying to understand the activity, because AI is about replacing the activity, or helping enhance the activity of this person. So, and then there's a different concept when you look at AI in a scientific concept or a business concept. So here we're looking at the business concept of applying AI. So we're trying to enhance this person activity rather than take this person out. So the forefront for this project is to make sure we enhance the role of the person, make it more efficient, look at efficiency of our processes. So this is kind of framed our thinking when we go to the next step, because this is when we understand how critical this process or activity to our channel. Can it be replaced? What are the systems that underpinning these different workflow and activities? So this is kind of an overview of the workflow and the AI integration. So as I said, we're just trying to enhance and augment the workflow rather than replacing the person. So for this, what we did is we took the webform CRM channel into kind of different in a swim lane, and we try to identify the key component that kind of contribute to making this process work. So if we look at the first one, we've got for the first step when the student gets in touch, there's a system. We have some data assessment that takes place. We understand the road map or technology for this particular system. So you don't want to go and invest in AI or apply AI into something that's going to, in a couple of years' time, the university is going to get rid of, or the system is no longer going to be as part of the IT landscape. So breaking this down gives an understanding of how the workflow works and a holistic picture of how we can apply AI or we can't. As you can see, the bottom row here is kind of where there is a potential AI, where AI can potentially be applied to this workflow. And also looking at any manual activity that takes place in here, how can it be replaced, and looking at where's the bottleneck, where is the time consuming for the person that maybe, if a student logged a ticket and he tagged it against the wrong classification, then the other person have to go and tag it manually. So all of these things, so building understanding of how this particular channel works is essential to kind of understanding where we can utilize AI or where we can't. So this is all good and well, and we've done a lot of work to capture all this and understand our environment. How can we make this work repeatable across different business problems? How can we make people use that across the university without having to go through a workshop and understand the in and out of the details with only these key components that we've kind of came up with? So these are kind of the things we took into consideration when considering the workflow and the activity. And one of the other things is actually the cost effectiveness that I haven't mentioned here, about how cost effective is replacing a work activity with AI. And what if we don't? What happens? So they're trying to weigh the risks and the potential future direction of the different activities here. So as I said, we thought in order for us to capture all of this good work, we came up with what we call an AI decision tree. So the AI decision tree is actually based on all of the things that we've done here, our understanding, what the things are essential for us to be able to assess whether AI can be the right solution or not. So we came up with this decision tree to start with, again, in Miro board. So what this allows for the person trying to go through this decision tree is to give them this understanding of the end-to-end point process of what we're trying to achieve. And also, throughout this work, we found out that AI is not the solution for all the problems. There might be other alternative methods or things that we can rely on that maybe can improve or enhance our process. So this is one of the things we have found, and we try to build this, again, back into the tree. Through this work, we have found new teams within Newcastle that we weren't aware of. So by kind of signposting people who are trying to implement AI, they're saying we have this existing system that you can go into before you can actually implement AI. So this has kind of been a game changer for a lot of people. And also trying to, that gives you a way of evaluating whether it's AI is the right solution or not. And most importantly, trying to understand the risk on data and our security risk when applying this. So, and this is what we've done. So we've developed this AI decision tree, and as you can see here, this is a bit more details of the AI decision tree. And what you can see here is that we came up with these kind of question based on our understanding of the previous workflow from the different channels. So what is essential for us to have in place before we can think about AI? So understanding of our SOP, standard operating procedure, is it in place? And what does that lead us is identifying whether there is any manual task within this particular workflow or activity. But also you can see the icons with the targets here. These are barriers or things you have to do prerequisites before applying AI. So these are things you have to take into consideration before you can think about applying AI. But also, as I said before, this decision tree doesn't always just give you the answer AI or not AI, but also gives you the ability to be able to signpost to other teams and be able to talk to other people within the university about what you're trying to achieve. So it's getting people to work together as well as giving the insight about AI. So we did a lot of work on this, and we thought in order for us to publicize this, we need to put this in a bit of format, which I'll be taking you through this in the last slide. So what are the things we have gained from doing this project? There's a lot of potential barriers to apply AI, and there's also benefits of applying AI. So I think these are the things I'm going to quickly go through, which is like there might be some conflicting improvement within the process. So the process might be still under improvement. So you don't want to apply AI to something that is still under improvement. It's a waste of time. There's things we found, as I've shown in the previous diagram, where it's manual things that we cannot replace. So it's non-automated, and it has to be done in this way because AI can't provide the solution for this. So also thinking how we can optimize our activity or processes before moving into AI. And also, a lot of us use third-party integration, so understanding what are the kind of the roadmap for the product that we have, rather than having to go and implement something from scratch, understanding where does this product go with the AI roadmap in a few years' time. And I think to wrap all this around data architecture, because data architecture plays a critical role in understanding our data. So by having a common data model in place, the whole university can speak the common language across the board. That improves, we have a consistent way of talking about our data, and then it improves the data quality across the whole of the organization. So when we look at the benefits of applying AI, I think it's about optimization, being more efficient on our administrative tasks. It gives us the ability to improve our decision making, understanding of our student data and performance, but also most importantly, which what this project was all about, is enhancing kind of our activities, and get people to focus on more strategic things rather than just doing the repetitive things that in their day-to-day where they repeat over and over again. So freeing their time, making it more focused on other interesting things. So as I said before, we thought we got this in a Miro board or a decision tree in a Miro board where people can go through it. But I think how can we spread this message across the whole university? How can we make it, how we can make this work easily repeatable, give people the insight without having to go through a workshop? So for this we came with, the way we democratized this is we came up, created a Microsoft form. And by creating this Microsoft form, it allowed people to kind of get a standardized assessment across the different universities, so people getting the same answer across the whole of the university. It gives us the ability to track demand. So what are the pain points that kind of people are having problems, so you can focus our effort on tackling these demands, rather than have to go and do something that completely doesn't have an impact on just one team, so have an impact on the whole university. And the ability to kind of flexibly route these different questions to particular teams that they can deal with. So we've got like people who can help with automation, or people who can help with signposting people to an application that can make the process more efficient, and stuff license or that we can use, which can help with our cost effectiveness of just using what we have, rather than we having to go and purchase something completely new. And the scalability of this is being able to scale this across different teams, as I said before, and it sits within Microsoft Era, so it's accessible by lots of people, and anyone can have a look at this and access it. And that takes me to my last slide, and thank you very much for your time, and thanks for the opportunity to present to you today.
Great, thank you, Abdul. Very interesting. So we've got time for a few questions, but while people are thinking of what they want to ask you, if you could go back and start again, would you do anything differently, knowing what you know now?
Yeah, I think, yeah, sure. That's a really good question. So we spent a lot of time collating data around the teams and what they do in the day-to-day activities. And I think this could be spent in a better way because we start with something very broad, and we kind of trying to narrow things down. So as you can see from my slide, AI is not the solution for every problem. There's an alternative way you can address your optimization or automation by doing taking different routes. So I think if we focused our effort on taking this decision tree through different business problem, it make it more kind of stronger in terms of So this is based on just like the channels that we've covered, but I think it would benefit from going through different business problem activities that people follow within the university. And if we focus our effort on this, that would make this more the tree more robust, I think, and more kind of across the whole of the university, just like we're not one particular team.
Great. Any questions for Abdul? Go on, Chetan. Just wait for a mic. Down here, Nat.
Hi, Abdul. Which database did you use for, in these corporate applications for the AI, enabling this AI functionality? What was the database used?
So if I understand the question correctly, I mean, we didn't use any databases, but you're talking about the
corporate database, where you enabled AI. So what was that database?
I mean, we didn't enable any AI. This was kind of just like an understanding of the business, of the work activities. So we didn't do anything with databases at this point. We're just trying to understand the workflow and the activity the person take, rather than focusing on the actual technology.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. Thanks.
Any other questions? So one question I had is what work have you done around cost-benefit analysis? Because I think we can all see coming down the track, or as we talked about yesterday, that the driver to save money, and I think we can probably all conceptually see that there might be opportunities to save money, but have you done anything about identifying that there are actual bankable savings in any areas?
I mean, when we looked at the pain point, we're trying to address what are the kind of the FTE time consumed, like maybe answering student emails, and sometimes maybe answering the same email over and over again. How can we look at this, and where can we set our effort on different things, and how, in terms of looking at how quick can we respond to student, that what kind of was in our kind of factors of considerations. We didn't really go into details of exactly how much that would go save the university, but I think it would free some of their time to focus on more activities that would enhance our student experience and better respond to their queries in a very short timeline, I think. Yeah.
Great. Okay. Question down here.
Yeah.
Martin, you're going to make him run.
When he gets here, I'm going to say I forgot the question. Great presentation, thank you.
Thank you.
I was interested by the sort of questionnaire form you presented at the end, which I understood was for staff to nominate ideas.
Yes.
What are the quality of the ideas you're receiving from your colleagues in the university, and are there a lot of them?
So we haven't yet run this, but based on the things that we've done with ERD, there's a lot about stuff to do with managing diaries, recruitment, which takes a lot of the people time, so stuff like this. So the whole idea of this actually to capture, so we haven't yet went live with this, but I think when we do, we'll be able to get some more insight. But based on some of the stuff we have seen, I think there's a lot of existing software that can be used they're not aware of within the university, but because it depends, how who have they spoken to at the time and where they've been signposted to. This form would help actually go to the right team to be able to deal with the particular pain point. But the whole focus to start with this project was AI. But we found out from running this for a 9-month program that it's not really going to be AI for everything. So trying to focus on what existing things we have within the university rather than going and buying and kind of now not being able to scale this across the whole university. Because sometimes when someone dashes something and people likes it, and then it's only suits them only. So trying to find how we can roll this out across the whole university on just one particular team as well. That was the key focus with this form as well.
Another question down here. He's going to ask you a quiz question, though, so be careful.
Thanks, Abdul. Great presentation.
Thank you.
I'm curious about, you're asking for responses here about how you want, to implement AI in other areas. But have you as a central team actually give any consideration about the central team being AI ready? And I'm thinking about things like about oversharing data, etc. If you're going to be bringing AI into these other systems as well, what type of preparation have you as a central team done around AI readiness?
I think at the moment within the university, we don't really have an AI focus team or AI and automation. And I think part of the recommendation that I haven't shown here for the executive team within Newcastle is we need to be able to focus our effort on having this AI and automation team, because we got people with different knowledge across the university, and having one team that can bring all this knowledge together would be really key to looking at AI. But at the moment, there isn't really a central specific team that can take this into their work-to-work daily process. But it's spread around different teams. So this is, I think, one of the recommendations I did say is we need to have this central team that take us through understanding, so we give consistent advice across the whole of the university around AI, around the data and security, and then kind of bridging the gap between data and information security, because at the moment, this is a gap that we're trying to fulfill. Yeah.
Great, thank you. Question from James over here.
Yeah, thanks, Abdul. Great presentation, and I love the decision tree of finding your way through the things that will be ideal candidates for AI and things that won't be. I guess thinking about my own institution, I'm sure Newcastle has similarities. There will be a big proportion of the things that people want to do with AI, because everyone's really excited about it, that fall out of that tree with not right now, or you've got to go and look at your procedure. How have you found that to be the case? And if so, how have you managed the potential fallout of lots of these people getting really disappointed and then disengaged?
Yeah, I mean, we've been able to kind of capture the requirement and the demand from the tree and try to kind of brought that into one initiative. But as you said, not everything is going to be AI, and people might be disappointed. But it's saying there's a big requisite before you can apply AI, and I think by giving these people insight to what they need to do in order to have, doing the data assessment, understanding the data quality, understanding where is it going to resign, where is it going to go. All of this is quite key before you can go into AI. And I think it's having the insight of what people are trying to achieve I think is key to when we come to thinking about AI and how we can take more than one initiative to become one big initiative across the whole of the university. Yeah, it's a really good question. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Another question over there, Nat.
Thanks. I think as we understand, there are two prerequisites for the AI adoption. One you mentioned is the better data quality, and the other one is the I think there is a little bit of process optimization needs to be done before we apply the AI in the whole, right? So I think these kind of two things sometimes delays the AI adoption. So is it possible to do this in parallel while we are doing the AI adoption, but at the same time we are creating a common data information model, cleansing our data, and doing the process optimization there? So have you seen those challenges that it is basically delaying your AI adoption?
I mean, it depends on the size of the thing that you're trying to tackle, and how many teams does it actually cover. So, and I think a lot of the things we do at university isn't really being kind of documented, and this is one of the main issues, people understanding the business processes across different teams and how this can be handed off from one team to another. So I think it's understanding how big is this problem you're trying to tackle, and what is the risk of doing this. It takes a lot of work and a lot of thinking. So this is where we come and try to kind of triggers people to sit back and think before they can embark on anything that might be, a failure. So and having these things and understanding where the decision tree becomes effective.
I'm sure there's nobody in here who can relate to the idea of undocumented processes in universities. There's two more questions, and I think we probably need to wrap up. So the lady here and then the gentleman at the back.
Hi. So I think, as I'm sure with many others in the room, AI is a very interesting piece of software, and I think there's a lot of institutions who are really keen to be, going on this type of journey. So thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
I suppose one of the things that I worry about personally as a person who works in tech, but also within a kind of institutional context, is around, I suppose, the ethics of AI. And how organisations, particularly HE institutions, are enabled to have clarity of kind of their stance on the ethical use of AI as an institution, and then how that then rolls into the kind of work that you've outlined here. Mm-hmm. So I suppose my question was, how has the kind of question asking of the institution, and how has around ethics of AI, and how has that then threaded through into this work?
I mean, there's one of the branches within the tree leads to data assessment and then understanding your data quality. Is it in the right format that you can apply AI into it? But also there's other strand which kind of understanding of there's some what we call data assessment impact that we carry out before we actually use the data. So this is one of the prerequisites before you can apply AI. And also there's a signpost to the ethic teams within the university or the Newcastle University to understand is this okay to do. So there's these things that we can actually apply or think about before purchasing a system that people sometimes think about at the end. So they do it at the end rather than being upfront and as a prerequisite. Signing both to people is key, and then understanding the security impact of actually releasing this data, or what others can, the GDPR, that we need to be considering before embarking on an AI project. These all kind of, as I said, prerequisite in the tree that people have to get in touch or contact with the right team that the tree addresses.
Great. Well, we're almost at time, but I'm going to push you for a very quick question, a very quick answer. So, gentleman to your right now.
Thank you for your presentation. You mentioned two things, one about the data quality and the other one about data security. So what sort of steps have you taken, and what sort of processes are you looking at to, A, improve the data quality that you put in, and most importantly, what steps have you taken to secure parts of the data that you probably don't want AI to be looking into?
So this actually sits within another team within Newcastle University. When you're talking about security, we have a template that people have to kind of go through to give the security team an understanding about what data is going to be used, where it's going to sit, and trying to understand all of the stage where data is going to, the workflow or the life cycle of this data. On the other hand, we have another also as the one I mentioned, the data impact assessment, that also looks at the impact of using this data. So these two things is a kind of key requirement before you can actually go into using any of this data. But the data assessment that we've highlighted in here look at what format is the data in. Is it in a system? Is it so it looks at various different things before people can use that data and understand where is it saved, what does it say, and understand the life cycle of this. But these are kind of like different teams that we didn't go on details about this, but we kind of signpost people to this. But we found these from our work as key for implementing AI.
Great. Thank you very much. Thank you,
very much.
Abdul.
Thank you.